Earlier, someone asked me if I knew how to do the hustle. I don't know how to do that. I didn't look it up either, so there's a random dance that has nothing to do with this. Hi, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to check out our website, nextjuice.com. Click that support button and help us to keep this channel going and growing together. I see at least two of my monthly sponsors in the house. I see Warrior Class Nick, I see Kiwis Lou, I see Sue, I see Cher. Cher says babysitting friends and Next Juice. Wow, with a heart. And Lou says get your Next Juice now on sale. I mean, it's not on sale. It's this channel. It's not like it's not juice, okay? I'm not selling juice, all right? It's just we have the juice. We're juicy, all right? It's just whatever. You want to watch the origin story? We're going to talk about origin stories. Love Squirts, hello. Thank you for inviting your followers, Lou. Thank you, Mike, for sharing on Twitter, retweeting, sharing on Twitter. All you guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for watching over on YouTube. So we are live on Periscope and YouTube right now. For those of you watching on the replay, I'm going to try to get into it, but I can make no promises because I'm a live streamer and I like to read the comments. Super Fro, hello. All right, here we go. This is the book we are reviewing right now. I read a new book every single week. If you don't know that, if you don't want to sit through these long videos, you can just get the written blurb versions, the reviews and summaries of every book by going to nextjuice.com. You can sign up totally for free. I send 3 emails a year, once every 4 months, and they have on average about 16 reviews and summaries of all the books that I've read, and they're almost all like this. They're either business or development related, oftentimes both. So this one's called Side Hustle, From Idea to Income in 27 Days by Chris Guillebeau. And he is the author of the New York Times bestseller, The $100 Startup. And I just so happen to have that book as well. So if you want to take screenshots of any of those. Hey, Saul, CBD says that they have a side hustle. That's nice. You want to talk about it? What's your side hustle? And this says, reinvent the way you make a living, do what you love, and create a new future. I loved this book. So I read this book a while ago. You can find this on my Goodreads page, goodreads.com/nextjuice. And I do have it actually in my list over here. This shelf here are the books that I'm going to be reading. Either I'm reading for the first time or reading again. These are the ones to be read. Bottom shelf and this shelf have already been read. I've read over 200 books, and I only keep the ones that I actually plan to read more than once or refer to on my live streams. I'm waiting on the reviews on the books you got gifted last night. You guys, I got a bunch of inappropriate books last night, and now I need to review them and read them because they came from a sponsor. So thanks, Wolf Puppy with 2 eyes. I love you, and at the same time, I kind of hate you in the most loving way. So let's talk about side hustle first. I do want to say a couple things about the $100 startup. I'll bring those up at the end. But I knew that he was a good author and it was a good, solid book. So when I heard about this one coming out, actually my first time trying to get this book was, thanks CBD, was I tried to win this book from Lisa Sansusi, who's actually another top live streamer on Periscope. She was doing a giveaway. She had met the author. She was at one of his book signings and maybe some workshop he was doing. And I did not win the book, but eventually I did end up, I think I bought this one myself at the end of last year in 2018. So I'm really excited to finally have read it, digested it, and now I can tell you what it's about. So it's a day-by-day plan. Every chapter is one day of the 27-day plan to get you from an idea for a business, and it takes you through idea generation all the way to actually running that business. So from idea to income in 27 days. Ed, thank you for inviting your followers. Banana says, I really need that one too. I have a hard time focusing when I read. Do you like audiobooks better? I can't imagine there's not an audio version. So if you like audiobooks better, that works. So yeah, Lisa, I love Lisa, yes. Okay. Try to keep my fangirl within. I love this guy, Chris Guillebeau. I love Lisa, and I love you guys, so I'm fangirling a little bit. But anyway, so idea generation, how to come up with a good idea, and to determine if the ideas are feasible, profitable, persuasive, and then so that's as far as the idea itself. Is it a good idea? Is it something that can actually happen? Is it feasible? Is it actually just the bare bones good idea? Is it actually something that can be done? Like maybe your idea is to build a civilization on Neptune, but how feasible is that really for most of us? And is that really a side hustle? So, definition of side hustle is kind of something that you can actually start and build and create on the side of doing a full-time day job if you like. It might make you between like $2,000, $5,000 a month. It may end up making you even more money than that. You may actually replace your day job with that, or night job if you work at night. All right. So is it feasible? Is it profitable? Is it actually going to make you money? Is it something that people will pay for and it's not going to cost you more or the same as what people will pay for it? So will you be able to make a profit off of it? Because it's not a side hustle if it's not profitable. And then lastly, is it persuasive? Is it something that people will actually be persuaded to buy into, to purchase, or whatever the call to action is for you to get that profit? And then on the next side, it's in terms of you as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, as the person who's starting this side hustle, are you going to be able to be efficient about this? Is this something that you can do in a small amount of time? You don't want it to be, taking all of your time, all of your energy. Is this something that you can do efficiently? And are you motivated to do it? How much energy do you have towards this? When you think about this idea, does it get you excited? Do you want to just go to work on it immediately? Can you just imagine yourself just putting your all into this? So if you go to page 61 in the book, depending on what version you have, I have the hardcover here, you'll find this chart. And he calls this the side hustle selector, how to rank and compare your ideas. So you put your idea on the top, and then you rank it. Is it low, medium, or high in those 5 categories? Feasibility, persuasion, profit potential, efficiency, and motivation. So I thought that was a cool little chart. I think I'll be sharing that on my Instagram this next week. Oop, we gotta get myself back focused here. These are my hands. This is my face. I'm a blurry thing. Hi. How do you get it to like come back? Come back here. Camera. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. I'm gonna keep talking while I clear up the fuzziness. So then once you have your idea, once you've ruled out all of and you can do that chart there with those 5 different categories on all of your different ideas. So you'll probably come up with a lot of different ideas. And he says to basically drive down the street and just look at people. Look at people in your neighborhood, look at people on your social media. Where are their pain points? What would really help them? What would change their lives? It could be a landscaping service. It could be a house cleaning service. It could be one of my friend's side hustles actually on Periscope, Soapy Shara. She makes soaps. So what is it that is actually going to help people's lives, something you're interested in doing? And then you'll probably come up with a bunch of different ideas. You could open a coffee shop. You could be an Uber driver. You could deliver pizzas. I mean, or I guess delivering pizzas is not really a good example, but you could come up with some type of competitor to Vistaprint. Come up with some type of like business card creation company or something where you're noticing that people are having trouble or something people want, something they need, and you're just looking around every day. And that's really about the idea generation. So a big part of the book is focusing on that idea generation. And then what will happen as you get better at that is you're going to have a lot of ideas. So then you kind of rule them all through that little chart I just shared with you, and you come up with your best idea. So then once you have your best idea, then you have to figure out who else is doing something like this already, either the same thing or something very similar. So first go out and figure out who your competition is going to be, what the market really looks like. And then you have to figure out how is your hustle going to be different or better than what already exists. Different or better than what already exists. Hey Ali, hey Bob. Bruce said Uber Eats more than just pizza, right? But that would mean like starting your own Uber Eats company, because this is for starting a business. This isn't like just making money on the side working as a pizza delivery driver, as an Uber Eats driver. So being an Uber driver, that was an example. Someone basically became an Uber driver instructor. So they taught people how to be a really good Uber driver. That was their service. That was their product. Wow. Lou, thank you so much. We just got a $100 sponsorship on the website right now. I'm not totally certain if it's anonymous or not, so I don't want to shout out the person this very moment, but if they're in the chat and they want to say it's okay, I will totally shout you out. Huge, huge thank you. So generous. Thank you so, so much. That person not only gets themselves into our private Periscope group, but can also get 3 friends to come along with them because it's $25 to get into our private group where I was live right before this, setting up for this broadcast and having some fun with the people that showed up in there. Try having a white book in front of the camera or a card to bring it back to focus. Oh, you mean I could use this? Okay, we can use that. Hey, Asim, hello. Happy Saturday to you too, Kyle. Bob said I'll start tomorrow. Okay. Hey, Siri, wipe the lens. But the lens is already wiped. It's perfectly crystal clear. Next blur, right? Hey, Carlos. Carlos is a monthly sponsor of the channel. Steph, thanks for sharing on Twitter. Shutting out low, 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 low. That's pretty good money. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I read all the comments. Oh, wait, we got some new ones. Here's my side hustle. I decided to become. I'm not going to read that. Hi, Carlos. No idea what's going on, Bruce. We're talking about this book, Side Hustle by Chris Guillebeau. Hey, Sal. Hey, Rocco. Rocco Sarcos. Hey, Terry. It's actually Saturday night. My dad should be out of the hospital by Monday. Oh, good, Carlos. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, so how is your side hustle going to be different or better than things that are already out there? So maybe you start a live streaming network. So then you would want to see someone like me. What am I doing, and how are you going to be different than me or better than me? Bring it on. Bring it on. Then you're going to identify your ideal customer and really get inside their mind. Come up with a profile for this person. You can call them Jimmy or Sarah, just give them some name and really think, okay, what do they do in the morning? What's like the first thought in their morning? Are they getting up? Are they drinking coffee? Are they working out? Are they having some emotional difficulties, relationship difficulties? What are their pain points? What does their day look like day to day, Monday through Sunday? Getting as detailed as possible about who is it that you're really trying to help with your product or service with your side hustle. Hey, Josh. First comment to the broadcast on YouTube. Josh says, don't let your main hustle know you got one on the side. Oh my gosh, Carlos. I've written one book, Sircon. I've written a book called How to Make Money on Periscope, and you can get that on the website, nextjuice.com, by clicking shop. Top Shelf Pineapple Group, shame she didn't trademark it, Tammy. Oh, that's okay, Bruce. Welcome back. Hey, True Love. I was just saying that we're doing a book review on Side Hustle by Chris Guillebeau, as the title indicates. So figure out your ideal customer, create that full profile about them. That's something that I know a lot of business owners could usually work more on. That sounded like I said moron. They could work on that more. So get really, really crystal clear. Who is it you're trying to help? And then all of your marketing, all of your advertising, all of your work, everything that you do is built for that individual. So you might think, well, but really it's, my friend sells coffee. And he says, well, anyone who needs coffee, I sell to anyone who needs coffee. Well, that's a bit too vague to really figure out what your ad copy and what your marketing should look like for your ideal perfect client in a perfect world. You're really targeting them. You're going to get a lot of other people. For example, I heard this one company who said their target client is a female, but when they target females and they bring a lot of females around, you know what ends up happening? A bunch of men show up as well. So they get women and they get men. So if you can bring the ladies, usually you're bringing the men as well, even though you're not targeting them or even focusing on them. They just kind of follow the ladies. And I know that's a silly example, but it makes my point here about your ideal customer. And once you understand what their life is like, what they really want, then you can make sure that you're providing the best possible version of your product or service as possible. And Casper says Hooters. That could work, moron. Yes, that could work, moron. Exactly. But he tells you everything. You guys are the best. All right. Then you want to come up with your origin story. I actually shared our origin story for Next Juice on my Periscope channel yesterday. It took me about an hour to give the full story, my whole history and background, how I got into entrepreneurship, how Next Juice was created, and what we're doing now, what we were created to do, and how we're doing that really well right now. Sorry, my space heater just kicked on. Don't mind that. So, your origin story. How did you get started? You'll notice that the big corporations, they develop origin stories that are made to sound like a small mom and pop shop. Like they just care about, the neighbor next door, like a good neighbor. They're just like a good neighbor. They're just like that neighbor right next door, that good neighbor that helps you, shovels your snow and helps with your lawn and checks on you when you're feeling sick and helps watch your kids. They're just like that. This big mega corporation's just a really good neighbor. And that's kind of the concept here. But you have an advantage as a small actual side hustle because your story is authentically small mom and pop shop kind of feel. You have a really good origin story as to how you came up with this idea, why you want to do it, and who you're trying to help. And you can build that origin story based around that. Then you're ready to set your price. So the book goes into detail about how to set a good price, how to make sure that you're getting paid, and different softwares and different ways that you can get paid, and how to not get sidetracked. So the last book review I did was called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and that's the same kind of concept here. Focusing your energy on the most important things, the most important tasks, focusing on your one thing. Try not to get sidetracked by all the other things that you can do and worrying about what color font and what size and what style should you use. That's a lot less important than the actual words that you're using. And you know, don't be so concerned about the nitty gritty little things. Focus on the really important things. There's another great smaller book about that called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Very popular book, really, really helpful, and it helps with prioritization and it helps to eliminate procrastination or decrease procrastination. Well, Danny, she's not on until Monday night. Exactly, Ed, you got it. Make it ladies' night every night. Yep, Saul, that's right. Maybe a scone and jam. Supply a range of teas as well. I don't know what we're talking about right now, but okay. Once upon a time, there was a little juice. Yeah, once upon a time, there was an orange seed. That's my origin story. Just kidding. Oh, guys, you're very distracting. This is why we can't have any success on YouTube because no one wants to watch this crap on YouTube. It's not crap. It's just basically a conversation instead of a video. So, moving on. Josh, you retracted one of your messages. You know how much FOMO I have right now? Then, we're almost done. We're almost done. I only have 2 more points. Eating frogs doesn't taste good? No. Earlier, Alex said that if you eat a frog every day, you'll learn to read better. I'm like, what? So, then it's time to sell it. You've got your price, you have your origin story, you have your ideal customer, you've looked at the competition, you figured out your best idea, and you're not getting sidetracked, and now it's time to sell. And he says sell like a Girl Scout. Sell like a Girl Scout, which just means that you are hustling. Basically, it's called a side hustle, right? A good example, we just got a little card put on our door the other day from a housekeeper who had cleaned one of our neighbors' houses. And the pitch on there said, I just cleaned one of your neighbor's houses and I'd be happy to clean yours too. Here's my name, here's my number. Short, sweet, simple. And we looked around the neighborhood, there was one on every single door. That's selling like a Girl Scout. She didn't knock, she didn't ring the doorbell, she didn't bother anyone. She just boom, 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 went door to door. And I'm not saying door to door sales is what he means here, but he's saying, there's a reason that they sell millions of dollars of cookies every year, and they're like young girls that do most of the sales because everybody knows that Girl Scout cookies are really good. A lot of it's through word of mouth, and they push for sales really hard. They go for the sales. They actually go out and sell it. Like you have to actually be prepared to sell your product or service. Todd, I don't know what is the problem here. I'm confused about most of these comments. I hustle myself whenever I cut my own grass. I'm supposed to pay myself under the table. Like pool, you pretend to be an amateur, but you're actually a pro. That's a really good example, Danny. That's a really good way to say it. Yep. Um, Okay. Josh is like, it's better this way. All right, I trust you, Josh. I did see that. I saw you say Irie. Okay. And then realizing, and he says, ask 10 people for help. You realize that no man is an island. You can't do every single thing on your own. So find people who are good at the things you may not be as good at and get them on your team. So I probably should have bookmarked that page. I might flip through here as I look for that, or as I talk, because they are talking. He talks about what types of people you should have. One of them is your ideal customer. You want to have one person that basically advises you on behalf of your ideal customer group if you are not your own ideal customer, which a lot of people will be. So we have day 19. Day 19 is ask 10 people for help. So the people he has are, there's four. One is your ideal customer. One are supporters. This is someone like, oh, thank you, Michael, for the super hearts, for super hearts of the broadcast. Sonam 108 is a great example of this for me. It says general cheerleaders who can provide support and pitch in various ways. This is someone who just basically like says to me, you're doing awesome. Here's what's working for me. Like sometimes I'm like, hey, how'd you do that on Instagram? And she'll just tell me. She'll just like give me the answer. She just supports me and encourages me. And she's just really, really awesome. So she's like a supporter. Then you have your ideal customers. Then you have mentors. So this is like a teacher or someone who gives you guidance. This is actually my boyfriend, how our relationship started. He was a mentor to me, a business mentor. I also have at least two other business mentors that really actively help me with my business all the time on at least a monthly basis. And then finally, influencers. These are trusted authority figures who have the ability to connect you with potential customers and help you get the word out. So you want to find 10 people that fit somewhere into this category: supporters, mentors, influencers, and your ideal customers. Good, Goob. Good. I'm sure you're not the only one in here. You're thinking about starting a dropshipping store. Awesome, Todd. Well, you might love this book then. It's really, you know what? I was able to fly through this book so quickly because it's almost all anecdotes. And if I remember this correctly, this was the same way. This is his first book, $100 Startup. Then he wrote this side hustle one, and that's his name's right here. It's the same name on this book. I'm kind of covering it up. Why am I holding it like that? Why am I holding it like this? Okay. Um, so both of these books are very anecdotal, which makes them very easy to read, because here's the thing, you don't really have to read the stories and the examples. Just read the meat and potatoes, right? Read the actual like how-tos. Here's what you do. Here's why it works. Just read that part. Don't worry about the examples. This entire first half of this book is like that. So the second half of the book is where you get the best stuff. And like two things I'm gonna tell you, the two most valuable things I got from this book. I loved this one. I liked both of them. I don't really remember everything about this. I'm gonna read it again, but I really liked it, but I especially liked the second half of it. So I kind of skipped most of the first half. This one is a day by day, so it's a 27-day program. You go first day one, you do this, day two, you do this, day three, boom, boom, boom. And what's cool about this is that it's broken down into, in this day, this is what you do. So in the beginning of each day, at least the first quarter of that chapter is anecdotes, and most of the chapter will keep referring back to the anecdote. You can just skip it. You don't have to read the stories. Just read the practical part. So you can skip a lot of pages in both of these books, and that's what makes them really fast reads, even though they look like decent sized books. I think it's like 230 pages for this one here. So anyway, remember, no man is an island. Ask some people for help, and you want people in those four categories. And then A/B testing. So you want to test, test, and retest. So you're trying different audiences, you're trying different words in your advertisements, you're trying different pricing, and basically the way you do that, so you can do it on Facebook for $10. Make a Facebook business page, and if you have $10, you can do this. You create two different audiences, and you put the exact same blog post, basically, and this book takes you step by step exactly how to do that. You write it out, you have your good picture, so on and so forth. I don't want to get into all the details. And then you put that same thing in front of two separate audiences, and you spend $5 to boost the post to one audience and $5 to boost the post to the other audience. and you sit back and watch the numbers to see which audience is the best fit for what you're offering, and then you target them. That basically becomes your target, and you move towards that direction, and you might learn something, and you're always going to be doing stuff like that. So you might, once you have a group of people that are engaged in your content, you might have two different offers, and one of them is free shipping and one of them is 20% off, and you send those two different offers to two different email lists or two different social media groups, and then you compare to see who's clicking through on that, how and what percentage, what seems to be more popular, free shipping or 20% off. And then from now on, you might just do free shipping. That might be your main promotion because that seems to get more buzz. And you can do giveaways, you can do buy one get one. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of generate hype in that way and do some testing to see what works best. So that is the conclusion of the review on Side Hustle. But as promised, I want to say two things that I loved from his first book, The $100 Startup. So this book had two concepts I really loved. One is called smoke signal marketing, which is basically what we're talking about with that Facebook post. You don't actually, smoke signal marketing means that you're advertising something that you don't yet have. You're advertising. So in the $100 Startup, he says you can put out an ebook, a free ebook that's like a couple pages long, that promotes this program you're thinking about developing. So you don't even have to develop the program. It's just talking about what this program is going to be about, how awesome it is, and then you're just seeing if people actually buy it's like a $2 ebook or something about this $100 program or $50 program. I don't remember the numbers. I haven't read this book in a while, but it's something where you can see if there's any interest in it before you put all the time, energy, and resource into actually building something that nobody's going to buy and nobody is interested in at all. If you get a lot of people that buy that ebook, you can pretty much guarantee someone somewhere is going to buy your finished product. And you just tell them, okay, well, I'm going to send you an email. As soon as this launches, you'll be the first one to know when this is launched. You don't have to have a date, and then you just go to work on actually making it happen, and you save yourself a lot of time. Which ties right into the second concept from that book that I loved so much, The $100 Startup, which is MVP, your minimum viable product. You have to launch your product before it's perfect. Because if you spend, again, it's the same kind of concept. You're spending a bunch of time, energy, money, resources on something that people may not even want or care about. So don't worry about making it perfect. Just worry about making it as good as it needs to be to work. It should be able to do the thing that you're promising that it does. And then you just put it out there. And then you start getting feedback. And people are like, okay, well, this isn't perfect or this or that. But at least you can tell if people are actually interested in it before you go spending all this time making some perfect app that nobody wants. I had a good friend who falls into this category. He worked on an app for like 9 years. And he would always talk to me about it. And I couldn't figure out what the heck it was or what it did or what the purpose of it was. And I would always ask him questions. I'm like, dude, you just need to launch this because I don't even understand what it is. And I don't think anyone's going to even want it. So why are you? He's like, no, it's not ready yet. He'd constantly be saying it's not ready yet. He would like show me features. He'd have me test things, but he would say, no, it's not ready yet. It's not ready. And I'm like, no, it's ready, dude. You've been working on it for 9 years. Like, just launch it and see if a bunch of people download it, and then you can make it better based on what kind of feedback. Like they want, say they want like a messaging feature in there. They don't really care about playing like pointless little Angry Birds games as much as they want to use it for a social app. It was kind of like, it just wasn't something that I think anybody would really want or use. I couldn't figure out who it was even for, and he didn't know either, and he could barely explain it to me. And I was just like, dude, you're basically wasted 9 years of your life making something that nobody wants. You're waiting for it to be perfect, and Facebook and Instagram and Google, they're all just outpacing you. They're all just like way ahead of you on whatever it is that you're trying to create. You just got to see. You just got to like get out there and put it out. I think was Snapchat an example of that? One of the big tech companies was like something, they made it in like 21 days. They just like whipped something together, like, let's just see if people even want this. And they started getting a bunch of downloads. And they're like, okay, now we need to like get resources. We need to put stuff in this. We need to get ads. We need to make it better. And that's just kind of how it works. So MVP, minimum viable product, and smoke signal marketing. So promote something before you even have the full finished product, just to see if there's actually interest in it. And that is the conclusion of this book review of two books technically. Side Hustle by Chris Guillebeau, which I just finished reading, and a book I read a couple years ago, The $100 Startup by the same author. I think both of them are good. I don't know that I really would say I preferred one to the other. I thought they were both pretty interesting for someone looking to start up a business. This one's newer. This one's more recent, so this might be more effective for a lot of you guys. Hey, Mark. Hey, Copper Boy, how are you? Like releasing a beta version. Oh, yes, Josh, thank you for saying that. Gmail was in beta for I think 8 years, even though it had something like 200 or 300 million users. And people would make jokes about it, like, how is this beta? What's beta about it? But it's fine. They just called it beta until they were ready to take that beta symbol off. And that's exactly what you can do too. You can call it beta. You can call it, version 1.0, version 1 or something, and then you can make a better version and make something better once you realize people actually wanted it and are interested in it, because there's early adopters for anything that's actually going to have customers and have any type of market share. Reminds you of Google AdWords, test the market demand first. Exactly. Yep. Most apps do a beta release first, like a rough draft. Exactly. That is what beta means, yes. Not Snapchat, WhatsApp. They were overnight millionaires. How long did it take Snapchat to be built? Yeah, well, no, that's just a year after launching. Yeah, it launched in a dorm room in 2011, it says. And one year after launching, it had 10 million active users. Curious if I can find the history. Yeah, they worked together for several months and launched Snapchat as Peekaboo on the iOS operating system on July 8th, 2011. The app was relaunched as Snapchat in September 2011, so July, August, September. So, I mean, they worked on it for a few months, let's say January to July. They launched it. 2 months later, they changed the name. And then they focused on usability and technical aspects rather than branding efforts. So they changed things. So that's Snapchat is the company I was thinking of. Chris Chris Guillebeau? I don't know. I probably don't say it right. Guillebeau? Doesn't matter how you say it as long as you get it right when you look it up. If you look up Side Hustle, you'll find it. It's the only book called Side Hustle. A dorm room. Those college kids are pretty sharp sometimes, right? Your only side hustle is my boyfriend, really? Okay. You could also do Facebook searches, check for likes and visits. Yep, you could check like hashtags. Todd said, ew, I like that idea. Thank you, Mark. You're awesome too. I get bored with anecdotes from most, exactly, which is why they're easier to read. You just found a torrent for that $100 startup. Gonna download. Okay, good. $100 startup looks decent. All right, I think I read most of those. Sometimes the simplest way is the best. Yes. Um, Facebook owns WhatsApp now. Yep, that's true. Where can I find a list of every book you reviewed? Go to goodreads.com/nextjuice. The link is on my website. Go to nextjuice.com. The link's in the profile on Periscope, and then just click contact, and you'll see goodreads.com/nextjuice. Click that, and you'll see all the 200 books that I've read and the reviews and summaries. WhatsApp doesn't use Facebook's guidelines for privacy. Well, that's like Twitter owns Periscope, but it has its own guidelines. Do you have a list? Oh, yes, yes. You're welcome, Todd. Yeah, my pleasure. And you can also have the new ones emailed to you every 4 months. I send one email every 4 months, so 3 emails a year, and it's got about 16 books summarized and reviewed for you on average. So I read 52 books a year, one book a week. So you can sign up for that. It's totally free. While you're there, nextjuice.com, you'll see sign up for our book reviews. Yay! And sometimes college students are not so sharp. I only have like 10 minutes left of content to do, so it seems like this broadcast has pretty much come to a natural close unless anyone has any questions about this. That's not true, Todd. I don't, it must be going into people's spam filters or something. I send the email out. I just sent one out in January and I'm due to send out another one in May. If you signed up for the list, you should be getting the email. So it must be getting filtered into either your junk or spam or something like that. I get it. I'm signed up for it. It comes right to me. And Ed gets it, and I get a lot of responses back from it. So I don't know. Yeah, you should be getting it. All the old ones will be coming from Fem Yoga or femyogataylor@gmail.com, but the new ones will be from Next Juice. All right, guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, everyone who supports this channel. Actually, let me jump over to PayPal real quick and see if that was an anonymous contribution or not. Squeeze the juice. I don't know what that means. Dweeze the juice? Deweeze the juice? I don't know what that means. But thank you, RD Baker, for the platinum level sponsorship. That's $100 to the channel. What a freaking lovely soul. You guys can become lovely souls as well by going to nextjuice.com/support. Nextjuice.com. Click the support button. And if you are a $25 level sponsor or above, you'll get added to our private Periscope group. He got added to the group, or he did a $100 sponsorship. That means he can now nominate a guest to come on the channel and be featured on our split screen. He can also add friends to the Periscope group. He's going to get a custom thank you post on Instagram and Twitter, and he's featured on all of our broadcasts here on the side scrolling list for 30 days. And all the rewards are all outlined there when you click the support button. Thanks, guys, for being so awesome. Thank you, Michael, for all the super hearts. You're going to get a shout out for being our top contributor in this broadcast this upcoming week. There's only one more day of the month, and it's almost 11/11, so make a wish. And I think I did an extra 10 minutes of content yesterday or the day before. I know I did. So I'm not going to come back for a 10-minute broadcast. It doesn't make any sense. So, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And I'll see you back tomorrow for more positive content. We're live every single day. Our goal is to get live 24 hours a day. And you can help us to do that by supporting us on the website. And tomorrow, not only will you see me for another 3 hours, but you'll also see Fabe wrapping your comments at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you can also sign up for our mastermind group if you'd like to meet with us once a month on a video call on Skype and chat, and we can kind of like share ideas from the different books we read and help hold each other accountable to our goals. You'll find that by going to nextjuice.com and clicking shop. You can help with some books, and shout out to my bro Kyle Mack. Okay, Bill, I just checked my Twitter earlier today. So I check everything. I check all my messages, notifications, comments, everything every Saturday. So I have to finish doing that. I've checked almost everything so far today. So I will check it as soon as possible, but definitely within the next week. So thank you. Love you guys. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. Bye, Brent. Danny. Reach out to RD and see if he wants to add you, because I'd be happy to add you. Bye, Todd. Bye, 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 bye. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. I will see you on the next juice.